Superpowers. We all dream about them. Flying through the sky, reading minds, turning invisible, shooting lasers from our eyes. Sounds amazing, right? Wrong. Because if we actually had superpowers, humanity would last approximately 48 hours before complete extinction. Let me explain. Your body is already a miracle of biology. Billions of cells working together, electrical signals firing at lightning speed, chemical reactions happening every microsecond. It's a delicate balance that took millions of years of evolution to perfect. And you want to add superpowers to that? Picture trying to install rocket boosters on a bicycle. Sure, it sounds cool until you realize the bicycle was never designed for that kind of speed. Let's start with the most popular superpower, flight. Everyone wants to fly. Soaring through clouds, feeling the wind in your hair, no traffic jams. But here's what nobody thinks about: physics. At just 30 miles per hour, wind resistance would rip your clothes off. At 100 miles per hour, you couldn't breathe. Your eyes would dry out in seconds. Insects would hit your face like bullets. And let's not even talk about what happens when you sneeze mid-flight at 300 feet. But wait, it gets worse. Your body temperature would plummet. Your skin would get frostbite. Birds would see you as a territorial threat and attack. And the FAA would probably arrest you for unauthorized aircraft operation. Congratulations, you're a flying popsicle with a criminal record. Or how about super strength? Sounds incredible until you realize your bones, tendons, and ligaments weren't designed to handle that kind of force. You try to lift a car, and your arms would literally rip off your body. You'd give someone a high five and accidentally send them through a wall. Every handshake would be a potential homicide. You'd hug your mom and break her spine. Romance? Forget it. You're now a walking death machine. Over the next sections, we're going to destroy every superhero fantasy you've ever had with cold, hard science. Buckle up, this is going to hurt. Let's talk about super speed. The Flash makes it look easy, right? Just zoom around, save people, grab a pizza. But in reality, if you ran at super speed, you'd instantly burst into flames from air friction. Your feet would create sonic booms that shatter windows and rupture eardrums. Every step would leave craters in the ground. You'd accidentally create hurricanes just by running through neighborhoods. And your brain? It processes information at normal human speed. So you'd be running at 500 miles per hour with the reaction time of someone scrolling through their phone. You'd see a stop sign approximately 0.1 seconds before you crash through it at supersonic speed, obliterating yourself and 3 city blocks. Oh, you want invisibility instead? Sure. Let's talk about how light works. For you to be invisible, light has to pass through you instead of reflecting off you. You know what else needs light to reflect to work? Your eyes. If you're truly invisible, you're also completely blind. You'd be stumbling around, bumping into furniture, walking into traffic, unable to see anything. Also, you'd still have body heat, so thermal cameras would spot you immediately. And if you eat anything, everyone would see food floating through an invisible digestive system. Romantic. What about telepathy, reading minds? First of all, do you really want to know what everyone's thinking? You'd hear every intrusive thought, every random song stuck in people's heads, every inappropriate mental image. You'd go insane in 48 hours. Plus, you'd never be able to have a normal conversation again. How are you? I'm fine. But you'd hear them thinking, I hate this person so much. Every relationship would crumble. Every friendship would die. You'd become a paranoid hermit who trusts no one. Laser vision? Your eyeballs would cook themselves from the inside. The amount of energy needed to shoot destructive beams from your eyes would require more calories than exist on Earth. You'd need to eat approximately 10,000 hamburgers per hour just to power your eye lasers. And if you sneezed, you'd accidentally slice a building in half. Super healing? Sounds great until you realize cancer is just cells healing too much. Your super healing would trigger uncontrollable cell growth, tumors everywhere. You'd be immortal for about 6 months before becoming a giant tumor with consciousness. The human body wasn't designed for upgrades. We're barely functional as is. Let's explore telekinesis, moving objects with your mind. Sounds convenient. No more getting up to grab the remote. But your brain uses electrical signals. Moving objects requires physical force. Where's that force coming from? Your brain would have to generate massive amounts of energy, which means massive amounts of heat. You'd try to move a coffee cup and give yourself a stroke. Your brain would literally cook itself trying to lift a pencil. And let's say somehow it works. You can move things with your mind. Great. Except your brain never stops thinking. Ever have an intrusive thought? What if I just dropped this? Now that thought has physical consequences. You'd be walking with a friend near a cliff and think, just for a split second, what if they fell? And boom, your telekinesis accidentally yeets them off the mountain. You'd never be able to relax. Every stray thought would become a potential disaster. Time manipulation? Oh boy, let's say you can slow down time. Congratulations, you've just discovered the loneliest existence possible. While everyone else is frozen, you're moving at normal speed, aging normally, thinking normally, experiencing every second. You'd live through years while everyone else experiences minutes. You'd watch everyone you love grow old and fast forward while you're trapped in slow motion hell. And if you speed up time, you'd watch civilizations rise and fall in seconds. Everyone you know would die instantly from your perspective. You'd blink and centuries would pass. You'd be immortal and completely, utterly alone. Mind control sounds powerful until you realize you're basically enslaving people. Every relationship would be fake. Every compliment would be forced. You'd never know if people genuinely like you or if you're accidentally controlling them. You'd become a paranoid tyrant, suspicious of every smile, second-guessing every friendship. Plus, controlling minds requires you to constantly maintain concentration. Ever try to focus on something for more than 5 minutes? Now do that for every person you're controlling, simultaneously, forever. Your brain would short-circuit. Precognition, seeing the future? You'd know every disaster, every death, every tragedy before it happens, and be powerless to stop most of them. You'd see your own death coming. You'd know the exact day everyone you love dies. You'd live in constant dread, unable to enjoy a single moment because you'd know how it ends. Mental superpowers aren't gifts. They're curses disguised as abilities. Let's burn everything down with fire powers. Pyrokinesis, shooting flames from your hands. Where's that fire coming from? Fire requires fuel, oxygen, and heat. Are you producing methane gas from your body? Because that's the only way this makes sense biologically. And congratulations, you're now a walking fart explosion. One spark and you detonate like a bomb. Let's say magic provides the fuel. Great. Now you're generating extreme heat from your hands. Your skin would melt off. Your blood would boil. Your bones would char. You'd try to throw a fireball and incinerate yourself in the process. And if you're somehow immune to your own fire, everyone and everything around you would constantly be at risk. You'd accidentally set off smoke alarms everywhere. Hugging someone would give them third-degree burns. You could never touch anything without setting it on fire. See powers? Same problem, opposite direction. Freezing things requires removing heat energy. Where's that energy going? Into your body. You'd absorb massive amounts of heat trying to freeze something, and you'd cook yourself from the inside out. Or the energy would have to go somewhere else, which means you'd be violating the laws of thermodynamics, and the universe doesn't appreciate that. Electricity control sounds cool until you realize the human body already runs on electricity. Your nerves are electrical signals. Adding more electricity means every time you use your power, you'd be tossing yourself. Your heart would stop. Your muscles would seize. You'd try to shoot lightning and just collapse into convulsions. And if you're immune to electricity, you'd still be a walking hazard. You couldn't use any electronic device. You'd short-circuit everything you touch. No phones, no computers, no modern technology. Welcome to the Stone Age. Water manipulation? You're 70% water. Congratulations, you just discovered body horror. Every time you use your power, you'd risk accidentally manipulating the water inside your own body, or worse, someone else's. You could accidentally dehydrate yourself into a raisin, or make someone's blood boil, or give yourself a brain aneurysm by moving the fluid in your skull. Earth powers, controlling rocks and dirt. You'd cause earthquakes every time you used your ability. Buildings would collapse. Infrastructure would crumble. You'd try to make a cool rock sculpture and accidentally trigger a sinkhole that swallows an entire neighborhood. Elemental powers don't care about your superhero fantasies. Physics always wins. So here we are at the end of our journey through the nightmare that is superpowers. We've discovered that flight would freeze and blind you. Super strength would make you a murderer. Invisibility would make you blind. Telepathy would drive you insane. And elemental powers would violate physics so hard the universe would file a restraining order. The truth is, superpowers in comic books work because we ignore biology, physics, and common sense. They're fantasies designed to make us feel powerful in a world where we're fragile, limited, and very, very mortal. But here's the plot twist. You already have superpowers. Your brain processes 11 million bits of information per second, while you're only consciously aware of about 40. Your body fights off millions of pathogens daily without you noticing. Your heart beats over 100,000 times per day without you thinking about it. You're a walking miracle of biological engineering. You can learn new skills, create art, fall in love, change your mind, adapt to new environments, heal from injuries, and grow new neurons throughout your life. You can imagine things that don't exist and then bring them into reality. That's literally magic by any historical standard. So maybe we don't need laser vision or super strength. Maybe the real superpower is being human, messy, complicated, limited, but creative, adaptable, and resilient. Your body is already doing the impossible every single day just to keep you alive. Appreciate that. Take care of it. Because unlike superheroes, you don't get a comic book reboot when things go wrong. And honestly, if we actually had superpowers, we'd probably just use them to reheat coffee and avoid getting up to grab the TV remote anyway. Stay normal, folks. It's the only thing keeping us alive.